Welcome back, Benchwarmers. We're about 30 games into the 2025 MLB season, and we thought it was time to check in.
There's been like so many other things going on. We kind of forgot to do a baseball season preview.
Our predictions last year were not so good, so maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah, you're right. Well, we at least have to cover the early headlines of this season. I'm Brendan. Enjoy Summers on the Couch.
I'm Corey. Buy me some peanuts, and this is Our View from the Bench.
Before we get started, if you're not already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss any one of the new episodes.
Also, if you could please do us the favor, if you like what you see here, please don't forget to smash that like button.
Smash it for us. Come on. It's free. It's free for you. It's free for us. Helps out the channel a lot more than you probably think.
Hell yeah.
Take me out to the ball game, brother.
Yeah. So I love this time of year. I know April going into May here, but you got baseball started. You got MLB, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, which we previewed already. There's just a lot going on. We just did the draft last week. There's so much going on, but
the draft
all comes back down to springtime, and that means it's baseball.
Yes. Summertime is fun. I love it. It's like I said in my intro, I just enjoy. There's nothing like kind of just kicking back on like a Thursday afternoon after a long day of work. You just kick back on the couch, windows open, because it's cool here in SoCal at night, so that's nice. Well, especially where you live, it's cool all day.
Yeah.
Where I live, it gets hot during the day, but it does cool down at night. So you got the windows open, a nice breeze outside, and you just got just some baseball on the TV. So it's nice to kind of relax too. It's one of my favorite sports to just kind of have on in the background. The other ones, I feel like I have to pay attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they say it's like a fishbowl. You have it on, and it's just kind of there. And then baseball, since it's kind of it's a little quicker pace now with the clock.
Now.
Still a lot slower. That there's a lot of dead time. The announcers just kind of talking and filling space, and then as soon as there's an excitement, you're like, oh, I heard something. Now I'm good. Catch what I did catch. Go back to doing whatever you're doing. So yes, it is a great background sport, but for me, I just love baseball, so I'm gonna watch it all the time. It don't matter.
It's your forefront sport. Got it. Okay. All right. Well, let's kind of break in. We're not going to talk about every MLB team. There's some teams that we shouldn't talk about. There's some teams that we shouldn't talk about, but we're going to talk about. And then there's obviously teams that we should talk about. So let's kind of break into a couple of the major headlines, just basically kind of covering a couple of teams that we think are doing something. You and I were talking before the show. It's kind of like an average season, right? You couldn't really find anything that's like extraordinary about this first start.
Nobody's got like 15 home runs through the first month, or nobody's got a bunch of RBI. I mean, Shohei's not stealing bases this year compared to last after the shoulder issue, I think. So the stolen base thing has kind of calmed down overall in the league right now. I know there's still a couple guys that, De La Cruz and those guys, but the Reds aren't very good, so we don't hear about them. There's just kind of, I don't know, it's that first month, everyone's just kind of feeling themselves out. There's been a few minor injuries, nothing major for most teams yet, at least.
Like last year, who was the Braves pitcher that got hurt his first start? Yeah.
After you picked him to win the Cy Young, that was good.
Corey, I thought you said we weren't bringing that up again.
I said our predictions were not very good last year. So
it's true. Hey, I said Aaron Judge MVP.
Okay, you were right there.
Yeah. So there's one. I'll take that. That was kind of an easy one, but still. The only thing that actually has been really cool that I know we didn't write this down, but I know you saw it. I forgot what the guy's name was. Who's the Blue Jays player that had that crazy catch? Did you see that the other day?
Dalton Varsho. He actually was former D-back. He was in the trade that we got Gabby Moreno from Toronto from. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, Varsho, that was a cool catch. Gabby Moreno, though, solid. Good trade still. Not regretting the trade, but that was really cool. If you guys haven't seen that, maybe we can throw a clip up here. It was just he fell.
That backspin that he seems to normally have. Here's a drive to deep center. Varsho back. And did he catch that ball? Yes, he caught that ball. I mean, Dalton, we know you want a gold glove, and we know you're good, but quit showing off, would you?
And then, still made the catch.
When I first saw it, when he fell and turned and still caught it, it reminded me of back when Houston first had their new stadium and they had that field.
Oh, that
hill out in center field. And there was a couple times where a guy would be like running up the hill and turning and not knowing where he go. It kind of gave me that vibe a little bit. Didn't give me the Jim Edmonds vibe back in the day.
Right.
Gave me more of a Houston Hill back in the problem.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was weird, but the fact that he caught it was just like, wow. Okay. You see the pitcher was like, thank you. All right. Okay. So let's kind of break into the teams. Where do you want to start, man?
Let's start with the Cubs. I think just right off the bat, they go to Japan to play the Dodgers, and they lose both games, and everyone's like, okay, well, the Dodgers are amazing, so that's going to happen.
True.
But then then the Cubs have come back and they've done nothing but score. I think they're like number 1 or 2 in offense in the entire league as far as runs scored, hits and average. They're at the top of the league, so they are offensively a problem. I thought they'd be better. Council's a good coach, so I never expect any team that he coaches to not be in the race, especially for the NL Central. It's not nobody is super dominant. He was really good in Milwaukee all those years. I think the Cubs finally spent some money and have an option. They got Tucker from Houston in the trade. So they've made some nice additions, but the offense is just exploding way more than I anticipated this early in the year.
Which is, I mean, what you want, right? You want to score runs, and I understand that, maybe they're pitching. What happened? Who's their starter? Who's the Japanese guy that's like
Imanaga? He is super good.
Is he the only one though? Is that the problem? Is he doing the carrying? Is that where we're at right now? You know what I mean?
Honest with you, I'm thinking about. I don't even know what the Cubs like pitching staff looks like. I'm trying. I know Kyle Hendricks left. I think he might be on the Angels now, if I remember correctly. So I'm trying to think of who else they even have in their
Looking
rotation.
at their here, I mean, not a lot of names I know. Justin Steele, Jameson Talion, and Shota Imanaga are like top 3 on their depth chart. So
yes, I don't even know.
maybe that's what they're. Maybe that, you know what? Maybe the Cubs will be buyers at the deadline, looking for some pitching depth, because, like you've mentioned, if you can hit, that's great. But part of October really is being able to stop the other team from hitting too. So they have that to improve on. But I mean, it's a great start to the season. A lot of people probably picked maybe not to win it, but the Pirates to do a lot better this year with Skeens and them kind of doing better. I know a lot of people. Who else is in it? Brewers, right? NL Central. Did they win it the past couple of years? So just the fact that they're kind of making this jump at the beginning of the season is boding well for Chicago fans, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the Cubs being good is good for baseball, just like the Lakers and the Knicks and the Celtics being good is good for the NBA. The Cubs being good.
The last team, but
well, I mean, I don't like it.
You're not wrong though.
But the Cubs being good is good for baseball. It's good for the city of Chicago, especially because the White Sox are so terrible. So at least I have one good team in the city. But just
it's a big market.
You mentioned the Pirates. I don't know if you've looked into this. I've heard somebody talk about they haven't signed anybody to a multi-year deal since like 2018. Everybody's year to year on that roster, which is kind of ridiculous if you're trying to like show Skeens you want to win and play ball. Like, shouldn't we be throwing some money at some guys and actually trying? Because Skeens is going to want to bounce. If that's
to be honest with you, another stab at the Pirates, I guess you could say. They're the same team that last year one of their best players was like 2 hits away from hitting a bonus, and they sent him back down to AAA so they didn't have to pay him.
Yeah,
like it just looks bad. That's not what you do. You know what happens in the NFL? The opposite.
Oh yeah, for
the
sure.
Coaches and all the players are out here. If Gronk needs 9 catches, the first 9 passes are going to, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what it is. And they're just making sure that you hit these milestones. And the Pirates decided to cheap out by sending him back. No, so to your point, they're not showing Paul really anything. They're
only going to keep him as long as they have him under team control, and then he's going to ask for a trade because there's no way they're going to sign him if he still is healthy at that time. I'm afraid at some point he's going to pull out his arm, but I'm with you. I hope he stays healthy and then eventually leaves and goes to a contender and can actually, I don't know, be seen on the national stage a little bit, because the Pirates aren't going to do that with that team that they have right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like him to go to the Diamondbacks, but there goes the national stage you just mentioned.
That'd be awesome.
Hey, we got Corbin, so
it's possible. It is possible.
Yeah, it's possible. All right, well, let's move on from the Cubs then. Let's keep it in the National League. We're going to go East though this time. So National League East, right? That's where we're how the Mets, man, 21-9 start to the season. Sheesh.
Hey, they spent all that money on Soto. They've been paying Lindor for 3 years, and he hasn't been good until last year a little bit. They brought Alonso back, so they're trying and winning again. I mean, 21-9 through 30 games is technically the best regular.
21-10. Forgot they lost to the Diamondbacks today.
Heyo, yeah. But yeah, okay, so 21-10 through 31 is pretty good. And the weird part, though, I think when you think about it, is like, oh, well, then Soto must be tearing the cover off the ball, but he ain't doing shit.
No.
Like, at all. I think
which is
Alonso
weird.
And Lindor, who, again, are getting paid, they're showing up. But Soto he's had one, I know he's not great in the outfield, but he had one, literally a pop fly last week. I think he dropped it against the fence that easily could have been caught. There was no way he shouldn't have caught that ball. So his defense is coming back to bite him a little bit.
Well, the Mets didn't know that. That's on them.
Yeah. For the Yankees, we were top 5. That was the whole discussion we talked about in October, was defense for the Yankees ruined the World Series. So
just ask Nico Harrison. He'll tell you defense wins championships. Okay? Yeah. Defense wins championships. Nico will tell you firsthand.
Yeah, he will.
But there's a little bit, we kind of discovered that some of this is a little bit, I guess,
Deceiving?
It's covered in pixie dust, I guess you could say, being from SoCal and close to Disney. Well, I saw a little stat today, a post that said the number of the number of games teams have played where their opponents are under 500. So losing records, right?
Mhm.
Of the 31 opponents or games that the Mets have played, 20 of the 31 have been to opponents whose record's under 500. So now it's not their fault. You play everybody, and that's just who they've played so far. But the real test is going to come when you start playing that Subway Series, when the Dodgers come to town, when those Phillies series are going crazy, when the Braves are, those are when you're starting to kind of, how good is this team?
Yeah, no, it's a good point. I mean, it does help. You got to play the Marlins 13 times a year, so that's nice.
Helpful.
Who else is in the East that's really bad? Because the Mets and the Phillies are obviously good. Braves are decent. And are the Pirates in the East this whole time? And they're not. No, they're not in the Central. They're
no. So Nats.
They're bad too. So yeah, you got two terrible, terrible teams. Plus, also, let's be honest, it's a very small sample size and early. So a lot of these teams, when they played them and beat them, and they were under 5, they could have been 3.
It could have been 0-1. Yeah, true.
It could have been really bad. So like at the end of the day, when we get 2-3 months in, let's look at those numbers again and see where they stack up. But right now, the numbers do not have a good tale to tell for the Mets as far as that is concerned. The only thing is they have a lot of wins. That's the only thing. But so do the Dodgers and a couple other teams, and there's a lot going on. So I don't know.
It may not be all fool's gold, right? I mean, they were just in the freaking NL Championship last year.
That's a good point. They did lose the NLCS in 6 games.
They lost to the freaking Dodgers. I mean, who won the World Series. And by won the World Series, I mean really beat the shit out of the Yankees. It was almost a no contest, honestly. As much as I didn't want it to be that, it was pretty one-sided most of the time. So we're not completely writing them off. We're just saying, let's just be cautious about how much we jump onto that Mets bandwagon.
Yeah, I was reading. What was I listening to today? I don't know if it was radio or podcast. Somebody was talking about you don't really know how good a baseball team is until about the end of May, middle of June. Like you get to that 2.5 month mark, you can kind of see how teams are looking and what to expect from the rest of the year. So now,
I'm liking the June. May is a little early for me, but I'm liking June.
I could say, okay, Father's Day. Let's say mid-June. Father's Day is the perfect checkpoint of like, okay, you are who you are at that point. We know what your weaknesses are, what your strengths are. If you're a team that's going to get a chance to playoffs, you know what you're going to be buying or selling at the deadline at that point. Yeah. Like all that stuff kind of formulates at that point in time.
Barring injuries, obviously, late injuries,
absolutely. But right now we're 30, 32 games in for most people. It's very early. There's still nobody. Again, besides one team we'll talk about later, everybody's kind of 500-ish and a little bit above. Roughly. So I'm not really worried about anybody yet.
Yeah. That team that you're talking about, or that I'm talking about, referring to the Mets and who they lost to, is the Dodgers. Started off 8-0, looking great, and then just ate shit, and really just kind of went on a couple road trips. Not to Japan. See, Japan road trips are good for them. They just win those. Real road trips to opposing stadiums, not so good for the Dodgers, and they've kind of slipped a little bit by being 21-10 in first place in the NL West still. So it's not necessarily slipping, but a team that's projected to win over 110 games, you better get it going.
Yeah, but I think also too, like you're gonna get everybody's best shot. Not only are you the defending champs, which means
like the Lakers, right?
Yeah, you're defending champs, and you're the Dodgers. All the money you spent, all the, we brought Teoscar back, and you deferred all this money, and everyone hates you and thinks you're doing it the wrong way about how to build a team. So
get every good Japanese player ever.
Yes. So every team you play this year, you're going to get their best shot because they're going to want to prove that no matter how much money you spend. I think the Dodgers and Marlins played over the weekend. It was the biggest disparity in team payroll in history. I think the Dodgers are at $472 and the Marlins were like $68 million.
Oh, okay.
More than two, but still, like $400 million in difference on the roster just is astronomical. So again, it's early. The Dodgers, they could basically sleepwalk to the playoffs at this point, the way things have gone the last decade. So I'm not really worried. Again, 21 wins, and they're not even playing that great yet. If anything, that's the scary part because they're going to get hot, and they could have a stretch like they did a couple years ago where they win like 25 out of 30 games. And then we're sitting here thinking, oh, shit, they could be the best team of all time. So let's hope that's not the case, and things are a struggle for them all year. But again, it's early on, so we'll see.
Salary cap. Excuse me. Sorry. I was allergic. This is allergy season.
Deferral caps. There should be a cap of how much you can defer percentage of a contract. I don't know.
This is ridiculous, man. Like, just make it. It's not fun. That's not what I'm saying.
Yes,
And I'm not the person that, and this isn't to get political. I'm not the person that needs equality amongst everybody. Let's all be super fair. If you're better, you're freaking better. It is what it is, right? But there has to be like some level of competition. You know what I mean? Like, because then it's just no competition. Then you're literally competing with 4 teams: Yankees, Dodgers, Red Sox. Whoever, Phillies, fill in the blank. You know what I mean? So that's the only thing. Is the caveat is like it's cool seeing the Thunder have the best record in the league in the middle of Oklahoma City. So that's the despair. It's crazy thinking the Missouri team was back-to-back Super Bowl champions going for a three-peat. Like the team in Missouri, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what's cool about parity is that it at least spreads it out and it's not guaranteed. That's not me hating. I love watching Yankees Dodgers. Okay, it's fun. I hate both teams, but it is fun. I can't lie. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I hate watching those teams have a chance to win, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna watch a baseball game if it's playoffs, especially regardless of who's in it, because I still want to know who's gonna win and be the champ. So, and again, baseball has not had a back-to-back champ since 2000 when the Yankees won 3 in a row because they
who
didn't
stopped
win
that one?
That fourth one did not happen in 2001, sir. You are
That's
correct.
right. I think the Diamondbacks kind of stopped that one. That was good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I'm hoping that continues. I know the Dodgers are going to win another one in the next couple of years with all these guys they have, but I just don't want back to back. Can we get a year in between at least? Come on, give us a break.
Give us a break. Jeez. It's just rough because we're in LA, so we just see it all the time. That's all, guys. Bear with us. Bear with us. All right, let's stop talking about winning and let's start talking about losing.
Yeah, there's a lot of
or at least being average. How about that?
Yeah, that's
okay. One of the teams that's average. Actually, we got a couple average teams, but really the fact that they're average isn't really the point of conversation. The thing that these two teams have in common is that they don't have a home.
Yeah.
Unlike the Dodgers.
It's weird. I knew they are obviously the Oakland A's have left Oakland. They're now playing in Sacramento, but they're not called the Sacramento A's. They're not called A's. So when you look up on MLB standings, it just says Texas Rangers, LA Angels, Athletics. It doesn't say a city. There's no moniker to it. It's just very strange. And the first game they sell out their first home game. It's like 14,000 people. You're like, okay, cool. Maybe Sacramento will show up. And then every game has been less and less fans showing up. The least amount they've had is 9,000. But 6,000 of those seats are also season ticket holders. So how much are you really?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
People that are showing up all the time.
If I lived up in the area, because I've been to a game there for the Sacramento River Cats minor league team, it's a great little ballpark. And if I lived up there, if I lived up there, I would go to an A's game because I just like baseball. But again, it's not. I don't know how you can draw free agents if you know you're going to be there for a couple of years. You're playing in a small market. You're not even in the market that you technically are supposed to be in. I know they're supposed to move to Vegas, but they're in this weird limbo middle. I don't know. It's just very strange altogether, and I feel bad. Well, do I feel bad? I don't know. The A's don't spend any money, so maybe I don't feel bad. I feel bad for the fans more than anybody. That's
and some of the players. Yeah, they're getting. You get your opportunity. You want to prove yourself in Major League Baseball. You want to win.
Yeah,
but it's not your fault what team you get picked by. It's not like it's a system where we get to pick. I want to be pro. Let's go. I'm going to play for them. You wouldn't pick the A's. So, I feel bad for them. It just sucks that they need to kind of get their act straight. The thing is, do they even want, like you mentioned, like pulling free agents? I don't even know if they want free agents. I don't know what they want besides to be in Vegas. But I don't even think it's for baseball. I truly just think it's for gambling, money. Maybe they'll put a casino at the stadium, you know what I mean? Or like a sports book or something, maybe not a full casino, but you get what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
That's what I feel like it's turning into. Yeah, but it's not baseball. So maybe they don't care about free agents. I don't know.
I don't know how they could. They were playing that stadium in Oakland, which I don't even know how it's still standing based on the way it looked when I saw it 10 years ago.
Lots of tape.
What it looks like now, but it's just sad, man, because like the A's, if you look at their history, they're actually a really good historically.
They have World Series championship. There's teams that don't.
Yes, there's multiple worlds. They went to. I think they won 2 in a row, and they went to 3 or 4 in a row. They lost to the Dodgers in '88. I think they won in '89 and '90. They lost in '91, and then that was McGuire and Canseco and all that. Like they had Ricky Henderson used to play there. I mean, they've had Hall of Famers there, and part of that, Tony La Russa was one of the best coaches of all time for a long time when he was there. And he went on to St. Louis and continued it. So there's a lot of history, but now the history is kind of in limbo because even when they move to Vegas, no one's going to call them or look back at their history that same way. I don't know. It just there's a lot of shit going on with the A's. They need to get in a real ballpark. That's one, but that's not going to
get a real owner.
That would also help too.
It ain't happening, but
no.
Maybe one day. Who's the Manfred? Maybe Manfred. Maybe he'll need to leave. He doesn't seem like he has got a spine, to be honest with you. But
And
he
the
needs to do.
blackouts.
Yeah, well, that alone, that for sure, that's for us. But he needs to do what. It's not the same situation, obviously, but he needs to do what Adam Silver did. Bye.
Yeah.
It didn't work. Obviously, it's not the same situation. That one was a lot
Oh,
different with the Clippers
yeah.
owner, but
Yes.
but the idea of it is like, look, this isn't working. It's not working for you. I don't care. You need to go.
And if
It's like,
anything, if you're the owner of the team, by the time they build the stadium in Vegas and they
it'd be
move,
worth more anyways. Fuck it.
exactly, the valuation will go way up. You can sell it and just walk away and let somebody who actually wants to try because the park will be new. He'll have money. They want guy or girl who buys a team
Right.
will have money hopefully to go into free agency and actually spend and bring guys there and
Just
play
there's no cap.
baseball and win. So I don't know. We'll see.
That's the one thing I'll give Steve Ballmer. He's crazy. He's loud. He's out there, but he gives
He
a
tries.
shit.
Yeah, he does.
actually cares.
Gives a shit. Yeah.
Yep. So,
and you talked about
props.
two teams playing in non-homes. The other one is the Rays, and they're actually usually
not their fault this time.
This time they're typically the last 8 or 10 years they've been a playoff contender almost every year and have made two ALCS and a World Series. So
should have won that World Series against the Dodgers,
but it wasn't a real one anyway, so it doesn't matter.
It's okay.
Sure.
So would have been better.
The Rays, as you said, it's not by their fault. The storm and the hurricane took down the Trop, so there's no way they can go back there. But now, again, they're in this weird. It's not even their minor league park; it's the Yankees minor league park they're playing in. So that's
so weird to walk up with that big ass Yankee logo over your entrance. Ugh, that's gotta hurt.
Somebody for the Rays was being interviewed, I think by Chris Rose, and they asked him about that. It's a Yankee thing. He's like, "Yeah, we made sure to check if there was any microphones or anything in the clubhouse when we first got in here because it's a division opponent, so you don't know what they're."
You never know.
But yeah, MLB. 2 teams in minor league stadiums, one not by choice, one by choice. And it's just a bad situation. And I just don't see how the Tampa Bay market, they never show up. Why would they spend all this money, especially taxpayer money, to build a stadium?
Please don't.
Go to? Like either fund it yourself or relocate the team. I know Nashville really wants a team. They've already trademarked Nashville Stars, which was a Negro League team back in the day. Dave Stewart, GM of the D-backs back in the day, who is one of the people involved with that organization that when MLB's ready for expansion, we're ready. So why not just move Tampa to Nashville?
Yeah, because we already got the Vegas market taken because the A's are going to move there. So because that was going to be one of the places to put a West Coast team.
Exactly.
Because you have the East Coast to your point in Nashville, you put a West Coast in Vegas, but we already moving, so Vegas is taken. So to your point, as opposed to 2 expansion teams, just one move would be beneficial. I mean, there's nothing else to do in Nashville anyways. They got the Predators and the Titans, so there's plenty of other things to do in Florida.
Titans are building a new stadium. Nashville's like the new thing on the East Coast. They call it Nash Vegas because that's where everybody on the East Coast goes to party instead of on the West Coast. So Nashville's up and coming. So it would be the right time and opportunity, I think, if they're going to relocate and move Tampa, because they should, and we all know they should. I think Nashville's the best spot. You can keep them in the AL East. They're still in the Eastern time zone, so you don't have to realign anything. I think it makes the most sense, but I don't know what Tampa's plan is as far as trying to get a new stadium and why would you put hundreds of millions of dollars to redo the Trop when it's already a piece of shit? Just let it go. Doesn't make any sense.
To be honest with you, I'm not going to lie to you, Corey. I have friends that live and work in Florida. I don't know why they live there in general. It's beautiful when there's no hurricane. How do you just be like, no, every year what happens is for a couple months, we're afraid that everything we own is going to get completely wiped out by a natural disaster. And then we just do it all again next year. Yeah. And you're just
I know we deal with, earthquakes in California. No. But we don't know when they're coming. At least a hurricane,
you have the annual.
Well, yeah, true. But at least a hurricane, you get some warning and you can get out of the area or out of town before it hits you. It doesn't just show up, a minute later after the warning we get on our phones like it does.
Yeah, it's like there's an earthquake and you're
boom, it happens.
You're like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so there's I don't know. I think getting out of Tampa would be a better idea. Obviously, the Marlins already have a new stadium, and they don't fill it either. So I don't think the taxpayers of Florida want to dive into another stadium of funding.
Stop taking taxpayers' money.
Yeah, I don't think they should do that anyway. But if you want a new stadium, either build it yourself or relocate or figure something out. But you got to get out of that minor league park at least by next season, if not the following.
Agreed. Okay, so now let's wrap up with I almost said bad basketball. Sorry, I was thinking about the Lakers. Bad baseball. So we play in the National League West, and towards the beginning of the season, I think after a month, it was maybe I think it was about 15 to 20 games in, the best record, the second best record, the third best record, and the fourth best record in all of Major League Baseball was first, second, third, and fourth place in the NL West.
Yeah. It's
But there's 5 teams in the NL West, Corey.
Yeah, there are 5. There are 5.
What happened to that 5th team?
Dude, Colorado is so bad. Like, I know there's tanking in baseball, and it's happened because that's how the Astros, back when they tanked all those years, got all those picks.
Dude, they got everyone. Well, they won a World Series. I mean, they cheated, but
cheated for one of them, but they did win a second one for real, so that's legit. But yeah, the tanking is obvious, and I mean, I can't really blame Colorado though, because if you look at the Dodgers spending all that money, they can't spend that. And Arizona, to their credit, I have to say, even as a Diamondback fan, I was very shocked that they gave Ketel Marte another extension. They got Corbin Burns. Like, they've locked a couple guys up, and they're not spending $400 million, but they're spending a good amount of money considering the small market they're from and what they've done in the past. So I will give ownership in them kudos for that. They're still competing. We're not just saying, oh, well, the Dodgers can just, run away with it. Same thing with the Padres. They're trying. They're still spending a little bit of money. They don't have as much because they've had some issues, especially with the RSNs going down in baseball. But still trying, still making some trades and getting some pieces and trying to get over the hump and not, again, just letting the Dodgers walk away. Giants off to an amazing start this year. So now we got 4 teams that could all, I mean, I don't know if they could all make the playoffs by this all-time setting because they're going to beat
mathematically, a little bit. But yeah.
But it's kind of like the NBA Conference. It is a bloodbath in the NL West. That is what it is right now.
Yeah, and the Rockies are not participating in the bloodbath. They're actually sitting on the sidelines just watching. And on purpose, like you mentioned. I mean, they're off to the worst start in modern National League history and are currently on pace to win just 23 games. Actually, you know what? That might have changed to 24.
They won.
They did win today. With the win today, the Rockies avoided joining the 1988 Baltimore Orioles as the only teams since 1901, that's 125 years,
holy shit,
to lose 26 of their first 30 games. They lost 25 of the first 30 because they snuck one out today on a late RBI like sacrifice fly that just barely got, like, it was barely, but they managed to get out.
That's another bad thing for them. If they're that bad, at least I hope they're scoring a lot of runs. They play in Colorado in the thin air. They better be hitting some home runs and scoring something, even if they're
Tell me who's hitting them. I don't even know who plays on that team, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
It's so funny you said that. As you said that, I was like, I wonder who is on the Rockies. So I'm going to look it up right now just because I have to. It's going to blow my mind if I don't. So let's look at teams here. We're going to go to the Rockies. I know we're paneling here a little bit, but that's okay.
It's all good. It's our show. We can do whatever the hell we want.
But the Rockies are so bad. Okay, let's look at their pitching staff. Jake Burr. I don't even know who that is.
Kyle Freeland.
I know that name.
Senzatella, Feltner, Marquez, and
Ryan
Dollander.
Infielder. I've heard that name. And Mickey Moniak, former Angel in the outfield. That's it. I know 3 guys on their active roster right now. That is not good. That is not good.
No, not at all.
Black's still coaching that? Oh my God, he's still coaching?
That's probably the problem.
Clint Hurdle's his hitting coach. Clint Hurdle used to coach the Rockies.
Oh yeah, I remember that. He didn't go far.
Oh my God.
Well, they got Chris Bryant too. I forgot that guy still's there.
He still plays baseball?
He's on the injured list now, 10-day IL. But
okay, I was gonna say I didn't see him on here, but I didn't look at the 40 man. I looked at the active. So okay,
yeah,
well, Rockies are not trying, as we said. So if they're
just crazy to watch, man.
They're on pace to win their 20th game by middle of September. It's May and first tomorrow.
And the Mets have 20. Mets and Dodgers already at 21.
Yes. So, oh God, could you? Oh, that's so sad.
That is sad.
And the worst part is we've been to Denver and been to a game there. It's a beautiful stadium.
Oh, it's beautiful all around. It's kind of nice. Yeah. It's like an environment for people to go and it's not like who's not a good stadium to hang out at? The White Sox stadium. You don't go. You go to the White Sox stadium. You get the fuck out.
Get back on that train and get the hell away from there.
You get out. Yeah, it's not like Wrigleyville. Cool, lots of stuff to do around it. Similar to this. There's stuff to do around. No, it's just so. Yeah, and the fans show up when they're good. They'll be there.
Oh yeah, I feel bad because they're. It's going to probably be 2 more years at least because if they're going to try to tank, they're going to take for a couple years and get all these picks. It's going to take the guys 3 years to get to the major. So we're looking at probably 4 or 5 years away from now. They're even competing.
Are they moving too? They're trying to. You know what? We're moving.
Glad I'm not a Rockies fan. That's all I can say. Yikes.
Yeah, sure. It's not looking good. So, well, let's wrap this up then. We're gonna do something random. Because why not? Because we want to. And we want you to kind of participate in the comments down below. So let us know. Corey, obviously you're good at predicting things. So now that we're 30 games in, you already know who's going to be in the World Series. So tell me who is going to be.
Yeah. So I just came up with this idea. I figured it's going to be May 1st tomorrow, and we've only 30 some games in. Let's take a stab and see who we each got playing in the World Series. Not who's going to win it, but just who the matchup is. So I was looking at the standings. We mentioned one of these teams earlier. I went with the Cubs for the National League. I think offensively, Counsell being there as the manager, they'll probably add a pitcher at the deadline and make a run.
True.
So I got the Cubs in the NL. And then this one, which is not really strange considering they made the playoffs last year, but I have the Tigers winning the AL. I feel like Skubal there. They brought Jack Flaherty back, who won a World Series with the Dodgers, who they had last year and traded at the deadline. So there's some like, okay, I've been there. I've won this before. And it's a good little group they got going there. It is weird that the coach, what's his name? The guy who used to coach the Astros and D-backs, Hinch. Hinch is the coach there. So like he's got,
that's why they're winning. Check his watch. Check his watch.
Winning a little bit too, even if there's a little cheating there sometimes. But overall, he did go to 2 World Series as a coach of the Astros. So I feel like Detroit, the AL Central's kind of the AL West, Houston, Texas, and AL East Yankees, yeah. But I don't know. It just feels kind of there's nobody really super above the rest as far as at the moment. So I'm thinking Tigers.
No, honestly, Detroit's not a bad one. They made that crazy run. There's like a 1% chance for make the playoffs.
Yeah,
like with like a month left, and they just did. They just did last year, and then they won.
They almost traded Skubal at the deadline. They traded Flaherty, but they flirted and talked to teams about Skubal because they thought, oh, well, we're not going to make it. We should sell him high. And then they didn't, and then they made their own playoff run. If they would have kept Flaherty, who knows what they would have done last year.
They got him back, so.
Yeah, so that's
Guess you'll see.
All right, so who you got in the World Series this year, sir, at the moment?
All right, well, I'm just going to be straight up. I'll be honest with you, man. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you my initial thought and my honest opinion, and then I'm going to try to be an analyst and think of something unique.
Okay. All right. Let's go with the first.
Dodgers, Yankees.
Okay, World Series.
Honestly, it's a stupid repeat.
No, it's not a stupid one, but I'm just more like, really, the Yankees don't have, I think, as much pitching as they did last year with Cole out this year already. But again, deadline, if they're in it, they could make a deal and up that at that point. So we'll see. Yankees Dodgers is not the worst pick in the world. I'm sure you're not the only one saying that either.
No, I'm just saying like it's one. They have a good team. Granted, they lost Cole, but it's not like the whole roster is shot. That's all. True. I'm just saying they got Carlos Rodon is still doing good. They picked up Fried in the offseason. If Stroman can come back, and they had again Garrett Cole, no, but some people that are they still have a decent top of the lineup, and obviously pitching to them is a problem. So I just have them because I think they have a pretty good roster. Looking through who's leading the majors in most major stats across pitching and hitting, there's a handful of Yankees that are kind of dabbed all through it. So that's kind of what I went with. But I'm going to try to be unique. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be that unique because when I really come down to it, I don't know who's beating the Dodgers. So I'm still going to have the Dodgers representing the National League. But my wild card is going to be not literal wild card, but my wild card World Series pick. It's going to be the Mariners. They're doing well this year. They're towards the top of the standings in the AL East or West. I'm sorry. It's a tough division with the Rangers and the Astros in it. And well, it's tough for the Angels for the first 2 weeks because they're good for 2 weeks. After that, they kind of disappear. And obviously the A's we talked about don't even have a home. So the AL East or West, I keep on saying East. AL West is kind of bleh. So I think the Mariners can kind of take advantage of it. They just kind of have to hold up for a longer season. That's the hard part. Kind of like they were in it last year and literally blew it towards the end where the Astros were able to kind of sneak back into the playoffs. So I'm going to have them kind of making a change. And you and I were talking about this before. When you're one of those teams that's like teetering around either at the playoffs, losing first round, just missing the wild card, something like that, that's kind of when you have that opportunity to make that jump. Similar to what the Diamondbacks did when, a couple 85 to 90 win seasons in there, just kind of dipping around, seeing where we're at. And then all of a sudden, boom, a nice shot to the World Series. So that's what I'm predicting is going to happen here for the Mariners this season. They have some pretty good arms. They got some pretty good talent at the plate. So I'm going Dodgers, Mariners.
Hey, all West Coast. And you know what? That would be the Mariners' first appearance in a World Series. They've never made it. So.
Oh, no way.
Yep.
That 112. I mean, I know they won that. What was that? 112 or 120 wins or something?
In 1999, and they lost in the first round to the Yankees.
Well, the Yankees went on to win the World Series. So I guess
it was in the middle of whatever.
But still, that'd be pretty crazy. Okay.
Actually, it might have been 2001, I think, when the D-backs beat the Yankees. Now I think about the year. It might have been 2001 when the Yankees were going for the four-peat that they had the 116 wins and still lost to the Yankees. in the first round.
Yeah. And then the Yankees lost to some awesome team. I don't know.
Such a good day, November 4th, 2001. I'll never forget it.
Never, ever. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up this little intro to baseball. We're going to come back, obviously, throughout the season, maybe a little all-star preview, kind of check back in. It's just hard because the season is so slow-moving and each game doesn't mean as much. So any big headlines, obviously around the trade deadline, all-star, those types of things are what we'll be hitting. But for now, let us know in the comments below, how's your team doing so far this season?
Yeah, and hit us up on Instagram or Twitter at RViewFTB. And who's your World Series matchup as of May 1st tomorrow? Because we went crazy and picked one now. Let us know who you think.
Exactly. Appreciate everybody stopping by. Thank you as always for seeing things from RV from the bench. I'm Brendan.
I'm Corey. Like we always say, enjoy the sports until we talk again.
Peace. Lakers suck.
This was a Sycamore 4th Studios production.